Getting a few hundred people or a few dozen people together is way more powerful than trying to buy properties all by yourself. Real estate is definitely a numbers game, and in many cases you need big numbers to get big properties. But crowdfunding is now the easiest, fastest, new way to do real estate. But there's a few caveats that you really gotta know, because this is not your grandfather's crowdfund I'm talking about. I'm gonna show you exactly how we do it today, right now. Let's go. So let's talk about real estate crowdfunding. Real estate crowdfunding today, okay, in today's world is much different than it was a few years ago when we used this term. So when you're buying properties, yes, you definitely can get a bunch of your friends together, some of your coworkers, maybe even family and friends in a mix, and everyone pools their money together and you buy real estate. Now you can buy one property, you can buy 5 properties, you can buy an apartment building. It's basically whatever you guys decide that you guys are gonna pool your money together and do. That's how it used to work. But now we have an easier, faster, better way where you don't have to actually know the people. Again, there's tons of people out there that want to invest in real estate. They want profits, they want to own real estate, but they just don't have very much money and they don't have family members or friends that are willing to listen. I'm sure you can relate to those negative Nellies that are all out there telling you that real estate or the stock market or whatever thing that you're thinking of investing in or being in business in is not going to make any money. But those people we already know are completely wrong. And those people are probably not going to be the ones that are going to crowdfund and pool their money with you to actually do something big. So that was the problem that was solved with the new way of crowdfunding. So let's talk about the new way of crowdfunding and how that works and how you can start doing it now. So crowdfunding today is really much different than it was before. We actually take our crowdfund, we take unaccredited investors. An accredited investor is someone that makes over $250,000 a year or has $1 million in assets, not including their primary residence. That is an accredited investor. So long story short, I have been investing in real estate for well over 15 years. And when I've been getting very successful in real estate, I started doing joint ventures with a lot of doctors and lawyers and professional people that, corporate executives that had lots of money, and they would let me, invest a little bit of money. We would fix and flip it, and then I would split the profits with them. So that was kind of one way. But again, those were wealthy people. They weren't, obviously unaccredited. And many times they really didn't care about the money. They were just trying to reduce their tax liability or things like that. So as I got into real estate and I wanted to, help people, just like you, and I was successful, but I was seeing that people were still struggling. I wanted to create a way where people who were not accredited investors, who did not have $250,000 a year or $1 million in assets, where they could invest in real estate and make money, because real estate is still the #1 way to wealth. 89% of all millionaires were created through real estate. So along comes crowdfunds, okay? Where people can just put in money and through a website, and it's governed through the Securities and Exchange Commission. There's a couple of sites, I'll tell you just about them in a second, like TrueCrowd and Start Engine, where you, a regular person, can get your own crowdfund, where you can create your own thing. People can put in as little as $200 or $150 or $500. I forget what the exact minimum is. For my fund that we have that I'll tell you about a little bit later, the minimum is just $500, okay? And you can start getting quarterly distributions, but you can set up your own crowdfund using these websites. Just know that you do not have to be an accredited investor in order to invest, and crowdfunding allows unaccredited investors to start making money and invest, so they're not left out like I was, and you probably are finding yourself to be. So let me take you back so that you can understand what you can do with crowdfunding now that you couldn't do before. So when I first started in real estate investing, actually when I first started, I was an absolute disaster. I ended up bankrupt and in my parents' basement. This was 2008, 2009. but I literally got myself a real estate coach, and he taught me something called wholesaling. I started flipping contracts, finding properties that were off market. I started marketing those contracts for a higher amount and getting the money in between. Then I was taking those profits and I started fixing and flipping, and then I started getting rental properties. Long story short, I was able to leave behind my corporate job where I was making six figures, and I had enough rental properties and enough rental property income where I could just be free. I could just be an entrepreneur with my real estate. And then I just started teaching a couple of people on the side. And so the coaching and all of what we do has just grown so much. It makes millions of dollars a year. I've helped hundreds of students, and it's actually an awesome thing. But I'll tell you the one problem that I was having. I was finding that some people could not invest and be my student just because they maybe didn't have the time. Maybe they worked their third shift, had too many kids, whatever was going on in their life. They just could not take the time to learn this, and a lot of them were getting left behind. So a couple of years ago, I just started really thinking, like, how can I help more people get in real estate? I know this changes communities. I know this has changed my life. I know I live a life that people would love, and there's abundance. You can have the same life that I have, where I live in nice houses, I drive nice cars, and I don't have to do really much of anything. I just wake up and there's money, no matter what I do, whether I make this video or not. And I want that same thing for you. And so along comes this opportunity where we can start pooling our money together. I can buy the real estate with my expertise, my team of people, my renovation team, all of that. We fix and flip the properties, or we keep them as rental properties, and people that cannot learn all of it can start to learn and get paid while they're doing it. This is the opportunity of crowdfunding. So let's talk about how you can get yours. So as I started to transition my portfolio of all those rental properties that I told you I had, from long-term rental tenants to some short-term rental tenants, my income went through the roof. But it was literally one of my students that really put me on to the short-term rentals and Airbnbs and things like that. And we just started making a ton of money doing it. And so what I decided to do was make a crowd fund where we bought properties, and this is all we did, because I knew the profits were so high. I had plenty of money to split with anyone that invested in it. So you can invest as little as $500, and you'll get quarterly distributions from the properties that we buy, from the rentals, from the long-term tenants and the short-term tenants. And again, this is something that you can do too. But what I had to do was have a plan. How was my investors going to make money? I already knew how I made money in real estate. So when I came up with the crowd fund, I had to be able to explain it to other people as to how they were going to make money. Yes, people will invest tons of money. Everybody wants to do real estate, but they want to know what's in it for them. How are they going to make money, and how does this help them? Well, baby, I have the answer for you. Crowdfunding reduces the risk by so much. If you look on our website, we just actually started the company 𝗎𝗏 in December of 2019. You will see we have well over $250,000 that we have raised. We have over 100 investors. People have invested anywhere from $500 to even $5,000, again, small amounts, and getting returns on that investment. But the key to it that I had to be able to explain to people, and that you'll have to explain to people when you're wanting to buy real estate and pool all that money together, is how are they going to get their profits? Well, I'll show you how you get profits in mine, and then you can make yours the exact same way, because it's super easy. I'll let you steal it. You literally can go to 𝗎𝗏.com and check us out, or you can go to truecrowd.com and look up 𝗎𝗏 and see our crowd fund, okay? And it's actually, I'm not sure when you're watching this, hopefully it's still going and you can still invest in it, because we've just been able to raise so much money very quickly. And I want to tell you how to do the exact same thing, because this can be replicated over and over. And I know there is so much room. This is so new that hardly no one's doing it. I really only know about 2 other people. One of them, I usually don't say names on my videos, but I'll tell you, it's Grant Cardone, and then another one is Jay Morrison. Those are the 2 major ones, and you need, I believe, at least 5,000 to even get into either of those. And they don't offer the quarterly distributions like we do. I wanted to make sure what we did was so profitable that anyone that invested in it, which is why we raised money so quickly, could start getting money quickly. So the 3 ways that I created with my crowd fund, and again, you can do the same thing, was I made it where my investors had 3 ways to get paid. One, I already told you, was the quarterly distribution. So we have the properties that we've attained with the money that has been raised. We get the properties, we furnish them, we put them on, sites, we make money, we put tenants in them, and we start sending out quarterly checks. That's one. Quarterly profit distributions. That's the first way, okay? The second way, I want my investors, because again, I want you to learn about real estate. I wanted you to get involved. I want you to know this so you can make your own money too. So I pay you to refer properties to our company, okay? We have tons of properties. We're looking for more and more properties. All the money we raise, we just want to use it to buy properties. So we need more properties. So our investors are paid to bring us properties. If we get that property, either we buy it or if we rent it, we will pay a door bounty, okay? You can go to newres.com and see about the door bounty, how you get paid, and even post a property if you're an investor. That's what we do. So that's the second way my investors get paid. And then the third way, okay, because like I said, I wanted to make this the easiest decision that anyone has ever made when it comes to crowdfunding. The third way was marketing. If you're an investor in our fund and you have your business, you have to have a business because it's a business-to-business transaction. You're an investor, you get your LLC or your S Corp or your C Corp or whatever you do, and we will pay you a flat fee for every investor that you bring to us. And again, this is what has catapulted our crowdfund, where we have raised so much money because we have investors bringing us properties, we have investors bringing us other investors, and we are sending out checks. So this just is a no-brainer situation. And again, you can create the same thing. I'll even give you a bonus idea that we are gonna do probably in our next raise, but not this one, and you can steal this idea too. And then the final way that you can get so much money for your crowdfund, where it's super easy, you can either, again, invest in ours and learn more about it. It'll only take $500 to get started, and then that also will teach you when you can learn about it. But another idea that we're doing is actually for the investors that invest a second time, we give them bonus shares. Hopefully at the time that you're watching this, that's still an offer. It may or may not be, but we give you bonus shares. So for example, if you invest $1,000 at $1 per share, just using round numbers, you would have 1,000 shares. But with the bonus shares, I could give you 1,500 shares for $1,000. I get like buy one, get one half off of your next share. So you can do some things like that. If you wanna know, this is the last step. You just go to TrueCrowd, or another crowdfunding website that is popular that I have used is Start Engine. Those are two sites that you can use to start the whole process, and that is it, okay? I gave you all of the steps. The main thing that you need to know is what you're going to do with the money and how your investors are going to make their profits. Those are the major things. And then you can go to TrueCrowd or Start Engine and get the last information and start the whole process. That is it, okay? You will have to get vetted through the Security and Exchange Commission, the SEC. I have been vetted. The company that I have has been vetted. Again, you can check it out. You can read through all of our stuff, whether you invest or not. Please check it out so that you can learn about this, because this is so powerful. I can't even tell you how powerful this is to be able to gather a couple hundred people together. I got 100 people together probably in like 3 weeks, okay? And have them put just a small amount of money in, start getting properties, and then start handing out checks, and then people put even more money in. Super, super powerful. So hopefully you got a lot of information. You get how to start a crowdfunding real estate business. It's super easy. Again, I've given you all of the steps. Please take a moment and make sure that you like this video. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Super important. The algorithm absolutely loves it, and it's the reason why I'm able to bring you this content every single weekday. I am here giving you all the information that you need. You can also go to newres.com, check out our website, or TrueCrowd, and learn more about this, because this is powerful and you need to do it. This is Noelle. To your success.